All right, so now we're going to do our mashed potatoes. Uh, it's our Pomme puree. So we've got a quart of diced potatoes in water. These are just peeled and diced. I'm going to drain out the water. The big thing with potatoes is the bigger you go, the longer this will take. The smaller you go, the less time it'll take. So try and do a medium to small dice on the potatoes. Again, we're just draining off the water. The reason we pack them in water is because otherwise the starch will actually start turning brown and you won't get a nice white potato. It That starch oxidizes, turns brown, and it just isn't very appetizing if you use it that way. The water just holds that oxygen out and just keeps them nice and white. So we're just dumping all of our potatoes in. Then what I'm going to do is take about 3 to 4 cloves of garlic. If you want it garlickier, add more cloves. If you don't like garlic, add less. This is 100% up to your taste. I find about 3 to 4 to be right. Now I'm going to take off those little stems at the very back end. Those contain some bitter compounds, and as we kind of move up in these lectures, we're trying to treat these ingredients a little bit more finesse as you get into finer dining. Now I'm going to smash the garlic with the edge of my knife. The big thing is that you do not want your knife to be pointed down. You want it parallel to the board. And you just give it a whack, and all we're doing is opening up those compounds, those aromatics, to really get that garlic out. It gives you more surface area for the cream and everything to come in contact with. That's 1 quart of diced potatoes, and then we're just going to add enough heavy cream, probably about a pint, but just enough to come just under the top of those potatoes. And we're actually just going to boil those potatoes in the heavy cream. We want, a really rich and luxurious mashed potato. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually start bringing this up to a boil. Then I will drop it to a simmer and cover it and then let it go for about 15 minutes. Again, it's just we're getting right up to we want to cook these in that heavy cream. If you want to salt it, then you can. Otherwise, we could salt it at the end. It doesn't matter too much. All right, there's my soft and lovely potatoes. I'm going to add the heavy cream and everything into our food processor. You could also do this in a blender. The If you want it thicker, all you would do is add less heavy cream. If you want it thinner, add more heavy cream. It is up to you. I prefer it to be a little bit on the runny side where it'll hold its shape, but still, a little bit thicker than a ribbon stage, where it almost acts like a sauce, is where I like mine at. So we're just giving it a good puree inside our food processor. And I'm just checking to make sure all the chunks get pureed nicely. Just looking down there, you can see a nice shot of the back of my head. Again, you can see how smooth that is. I've just got those couple little chunks left, and I'm just trying to get everything incorporated. You cannot overmix this. Because we didn't use a high starch potato, we don't necessarily have the same issues. But you can see it's got a pretty good consistency. I'm just getting those last chunks out of it. Then I'm going to taste it and just season it to taste, just salt and pepper. These are just going to be garlicky, rich, decadent potatoes. Give them a quick taste. And because I seasoned my potatoes before I boiled them, I actually had it right on spot on seasoning. It was absolutely great.